Welcome to the Shropshire Union Canal, a remarkable waterway spanning 66 miles through the heart of England. It begins its journey in Wolverhampton and gracefully winds its way through picturesque landscapes, historic towns, and charming villages before reaching its end in Ellesmere Port. Each year, the canal draws in a multitude of visitors, from boating enthusiasts to nature lovers seeking solace along its tranquil waters. Whether you're strolling along its towpaths, cruising on a boat, or simply relishing the beauty of its surroundings, the Shropshire Union Canal offers a captivating experience that echoes with the whispers of history and the promise of exploration. Today, we look at its history. 1770s, the birth of an idea, the Shropshire Union Canal. During the late 18th century, a period of remarkable industrial advancement in Britain, a visionary concept began to materialize. The 1770s marked the emergence of an ambitious plan to interlink existing canal systems spanning Staffordshire, Cheshire, and Shropshire. Distinguished figures such as Thomas Telford and Josiah Wedgwood spearheaded this ambitious endeavour. Their vision extended beyond the mere construction of a canal. It entailed the creation of an expansive aquatic network, facilitating the seamless conveyance of raw materials and finished products across England's core. As shovels struck the earth and foundations placed, the seed of the Shropshire Union Canal was planted. This concept held greater significance than infrastructure development. It encapsulated a strategic avenue for economic enhancement, fostering regional connections and charting a transformative course in history. In the crucible of the 1770s, this idea took root, laying the cornerstone for an unparalleled means of transportation and trade that would stand as a testament to human ingenuity and foresight. 1780s. During the early 1780s, the big plan for the Shropshire Union Canal actually started to happen. People with tools like shovels and a whole lot of hard work got to work. They had a big job ahead, creating this really complicated system of waterways. But here's the thing, the path they chose for the canal wasn't easy. The land had hills, valleys, and rivers all over. It was like a big puzzle, and they had to figure out how to make the canal fit through all of it. It wasn't just a straight line. They had to be pretty smart about it. The 1790s. As they built the Shropshire Union Canal, they faced tough problems. Money was tight, building was hard, and some landowners didn't want it. But they didn't give up. They kept going bit by bit, connecting towns and regions. Even when things got tough, they stayed strong and kept pushing ahead. The canal started joining places together, showing their strong will and hard work. When they planned the Shropshire Union Canal, they followed paths already there in the land, sort of like veins of sandstone. They chose these paths carefully, thinking about how to make the canal go through the hills and valleys. They picked the best route, considering how to make the waterway work, despite the tricky terrain. So they used what was already there in the land and figured out a smart way to build the canal. Back in those times, the folks who did the heavy lifting and building of canals and railways were known as navvies. These were no strangers to hard work. They were the muscle behind the construction, putting in long hours and sweating it out to make things happen. However, as they went about their work, there were times when their presence stirred up some friction with the local residents. You see, the navvies often came from far-off places to work on these projects. This could create a sort of divide between them and the people who had always lived in those areas. This divide sometimes led to incidents where tensions flared. The navvies, being newcomers, might not have fully understood or respected the local ways. There were instances where they didn't exactly blend in smoothly. For instance, there were reports of navvies helping themselves to eggs from nearby farms, causing quite a stir among the locals. Their presence could sometimes disrupt the daily routines of the local communities. Noise, disturbances, and unfamiliar faces could lead to strained relations. While the navvies were essential to the progress of construction, these interactions could create a complex dynamic between the hard-working outsiders and the established residents. So, the navvies weren't just builders. they were a part of a larger story that unfolded as they worked alongside the communities where they were building. It's a tale of different worlds intersecting, sometimes harmoniously and other times with a bit of friction. The 1800s. As the 19th century kicked in, the Shropshire Union Canal became a big deal for trade and business. Back then, the Industrial Revolution was booming, and the canal was right in the thick of it. It had a super important job, moving stuff like coal, iron, and pottery. Imagine this. The canal was like a busy highway, but on the water. Boats, pulled by horses at first and later by steam engines, cruised along, carrying all these essential things. It was like a big, lively marketplace on the water, with lots of action and hustle. This canal wasn't just a waterway, it was a lifeline for industries. It helped factories get what they needed to make stuff and sent out finished products to other places. So, during the 1800s, the Shropshire Union Canal was really holding things together, making sure goods flowed smoothly in the bustling world of trade and business. 1810s to the 1820s, expansions and connection. During this time, the Shropshire Union Canal was really stretching its reach. It's like they saw a good thing and decided to make it even better. So they had this bright idea. Let's connect our canal with other big canals, like the Trent and Mersey Canal and the Birmingham Canal navigations. These connections weren't just lines on a map, they were like superhighways for trade and travel. Imagine being able to easily send stuff and people from one place to another. It made things so much smoother. 1830s to the 1840s. Let's zoom in on the 1830s and 1840s, a period where big changes were afoot. This was when the world was getting all excited about something new. The railways. These iron tracks were like a lightning bolt, making things move faster than ever before. This put the traditional canals, like the Shropshire Union Canal, in a tough spot. Railways were like the cool kids at the party, drawing everyone's attention. They were speedy and efficient, making canal transportation seem a bit slow and old-fashioned. The Shropshire Union Canal didn't shy away from this challenge. Nope, they rolled up their sleeves and got to work. They knew they had to up their game to stay relevant. They started by doing some serious upgrades. They widened parts of the canal and tweaked the locks to make things smoother. It was like a makeover for the canal, making sure it could handle the changing time. During this era, the Shropshire Union Canal actually became part of something bigger. It linked up with other canals to create a massive network called the Grand Junction Canal. This move was like joining forces to stay strong in the face of the railway revolution. So even though railways were all the rage, the Shropshire Union Canal wasn't about to fade into the background. It was determined to stay in the game, adapting to the times and showing that it could still hold its own, no matter how fast those trains were zooming by. 1870 to the 1900s. The twilight years, the late 19th century into the early 20th century marked a transformative phase for the Shropshire Union Canal. This period witnessed a shift in its role and purpose due to changing industrial and transportation landscapes. The canal, once a bustling trade route, experienced the decline of traditional industries that had once heavily relied upon its waters for transportation. Concurrently, the emergence of motorized road vehicles signaled a new era of transportation, challenging the canal's relevance in the movement of goods. Amid these shifts, the Shropshire Union Canal found a new identity. It gracefully transitioned from an industrial lifeline to a leisure-oriented waterway. Its scenic charm and tranquil ambience became a draw for boating enthusiasts, holidaymakers, and nature lovers. People seeking a respite from the urban hustle were lured by the promise of peaceful journeys along its picturesque waters. During this time, the canal embraced its newfound role by establishing amenities catering to leisure activities. Towpaths were transformed into walking and cycling routes, allowing visitors to explore the canal's beauty at their own pace. The canal's banks evolved into inviting spaces for picnics and relaxation, inviting families and individuals to unwind amidst nature. The Shropshire Union Canal's ability to adapt and reinvent itself ensured its survival in changing times. Its evolution into a leisure destination was not just a preservation of history, but a testament to the enduring charm of its waters. As the sun set on the 19th century, the canal embarked on a new chapter, welcoming generations to come and discover its rejuvenated allure. 20th century onward, a new purpose. As the 20th century dawned, a revitalizing wind blew through the Shropshire Union Canal. This era saw determined efforts to preserve and restore this historical waterway, breathing fresh life into its age. Old banks, preservation initiatives gained momentum, recognizing the canal's significance as a tangible link to the past. Restoration projects were undertaken to bring back its original glory, with a focus on retaining its historical features and character. The canal's transformation into a recreational haven was a key theme of this century. It evolved into a cherished resource for leisure and relaxation, providing an escape from the urban bustle. Walkers, cyclists, and boating enthusiasts flocked its shores, seeking a peaceful retreat along its serene waters. Notably, the canal's restoration efforts had positive ecological repercussions. Biodiversity flourished as the waterway regained its health. Wetlands, flora, and fauna found a sanctuary along its banks, contributing to the region's natural diversity. Today, the Shropshire Union Canal stands as a living testament to the power of human dedication. It's a place where innovation met history, a place where the past and present coexist. It reflects the resilience of a community that refused to let time erode its legacy. The canal's journey into the 20th century and beyond embodies the human spirit's capacity to honor the past while embracing the limitless horizons of the future.